Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be across the nation or around the world. My name is Shane Squark, and on behalf of SFX.com Small Business Solutions, I am pleased to be back again with our semi-weekly video series, Small Business Tech Tips here at SFX. I've tried to change up things in the past couple of weeks, so it's not so much me just giving you a monologue, talking about things you should be doing or taking advantage of. This week, rather than sending you back to Netflix and watching some zany documentaries on some Tiger Kings, I decided to bring in another entrepreneur that I've known for a really, really long time. My guest today is Steve Soletto, who has served diligently in his role as one of my greatest and closest friends for the last 2 decades. But beyond that incredibly important role, Steve is also the owner and managing director of Soletto Business Solutions, which is an IT infrastructure and consulting company based in New Jersey that specializes in all-encompassing computer and IT network solutions, be it computer repair, disaster recovery, email exchange, network security, and so forth. Steve, I know it isn't often you get in front of the camera, so I thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So give the people here, I gave my greatest rundown I possibly could in your roles. Why don't you share with everyone what you do, what your background is in IT, and kind of your role with Soletto Business Solutions?
Well, as you said, I'm more of the behind-the-scenes guy, so trying to get in front of the camera is not the easiest thing for me. I'm more of a face-to-face, even though I am a tech guy. It's hard to get in front of this screen here. We specialize in network support, manage IT services. We kind of handle everything from A to Z in terms of technology. As with every small business, like a lot of stuff that kind of starts out is more of a do-it-yourself, anything to get it done, to get the internet up and running. But with that comes, some issues when, technology starts to fail, security becomes a risk. As you grow, your technologies kind of grow with you. So being that, as it said, it's always good to have some sort of, IT person that's available to you to bounce ideas off of, just to talk to, or just to overall just oversee your network.
Now, are you exclusively working with small mom and pop shop type businesses? Does your clients extend beyond that to, townships or kind of larger scale infrastructure? Where do you lie in terms of your business clientele?
I try to stick to more of like a niche market. Like I do a lot of small businesses. I also do, small school districts, those kind of school districts that either fall under like shared services with a bigger district, but every school district needs some sort of technology, especially with a lot of like this remote learning that's going on with the COVID-19. Every school district is almost at this point doing a remote learning environment. Absolutely. So the shared services aren't the best thing for them to do with a bigger district. So they look to, my business to come in and help them and guide them in the right direction.
Are you finding
small townships? Those small townships that don't necessarily have the ability to do like an on-site IT department.
Sure.
So they kind of go out and do contract work with my business, so that you get the knowledge of a big IT department, but you're only hiring one business.
Right. So yeah, from a cost perspective for some of these districts, it's probably huge to have you come in rather than bringing in 3 or 4 extra IT guys that you're going to have to salary and obviously hit with benefits. Are you finding your workload now dramatically increased? Maybe this is kind of a silly question, but given that everyone's kind of stuck at home, teachers are obviously teaching their courses from home, administrators are probably hosting their meetings from home. Are you just slammed to the floor, or have you found kind of the gas is off the pedal a little bit and everyone's sort of got it down now?
It's more business as usual. Things don't really, they kind of pick up, they slow down. It really depends on the day. Mondays are always busy regardless if we were in this pandemic or not. Fridays are kind of more low key. You get the unique questions. Somebody couldn't figure something out during the middle of the week. They kind of reach out to you on a Friday, which is good because it gives us the weekend to troubleshoot it and get back to them with a good answer first thing Monday morning.
So one of the things that, being in obviously the same industry, we get a lot of the same questions, and people think that, just because you do one piece of technology, you know all of it. So being the website guy primarily, I get a lot of questions from people that kind of come in and ask, why do I really need any sort of IT guy? Why do I need IT infrastructure? Everything's cloud-based. I can access my files online. I can do my video chats online. It's kind of a hard question to answer to people because they're right in one sense, but when you're opening up a new small business, you're wrong too, because you're leaving yourself so vulnerable in so many other ways that your traditional non-tech savvy person doesn't really grasp. So, being a professional in this industry and kind of this being your niche, what would you say to the people that, kind of dismiss the idea of IT infrastructure almost just in favor of the cloud?
Two things, security and backups. The issue is with security is even though you are using everything in the cloud, if you're not secure on your side of the network, there are issues that, the end-to-end encryption is not there, that people can kind of use your network as a way to eavesdrop on your information or just to enter information on from your computer. Because even though you're using cloud-based stuff, the overall encryption, like going back and forth, it can be compromised. And the same thing with backups. What if your internet's down and you don't have access to that cloud-based stuff? Do you have local backups? Is that secured? Is it backed up that if your computer fails? Those type of things those are the two big proponents to having, an IT infrastructure for your business.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's very well said. I think we're all so dependent on the internet and this kind of work from home situation that we've been in lately for a lot of people that have never done it before. I don't think really many people have skipped a beat necessarily. I don't think they've really underscored the value of kind of having an infrastructure in place because the internet really hasn't gone down yet. Initially, I think there was a couple of instances where you saw like Microsoft go down or Xbox servers went down and, it disrupted people. I think Zoom was down for about an hour. But for the most part, actual core IT infrastructure has been up. Comcast and Xfinity have been sending people out. I know Verizon Fios and Area has been sending people out nonstop to keep your networks up. But if that stuff were to go down at any point in this thing, I think people would finally kind of open their eyes a little bit like, wow, like I really can't do anything without the internet,
Yeah, and it was, the first day that, we had to work from home, I woke up that morning and my internet was down. Thankfully, it was just like just a network maintenance thing that it came back up right away. But
I must have just literally missed that because I keep hearing everyone talk about that. And I was on the computer at 9 a.m. Monday and I was working. I mean, it was a little slow at first.
It was about
expected.
My kids get me up at 6 a.m. So it was about 5:45.
I literally just missed it.
I got the alert on my phone that the internet was down.
Oh man, could you imagine what lasted?
Same with phones. Phones, everybody is on mobile devices, and
yep.
Internet goes down or mobile network's down. At this point, at this rate right now, there's a lot more traffic going back and forth. They're pushing this big new 5G that's going around. We're at a point that data is important to get at light speed, and once this stuff happens where you're constantly trying to communicate, being down or out of the area is just not a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So new businesses, you're dealing with them a lot, I think. And we talked about kind of the importance of the infrastructure. I know there are a lot of businesses that sort of take it upon themselves, whether it's they have some rudimentary knowledge or, a friend's, cousin's, sister's brother, played with computers once 10 years ago and kind of gives them some rudimentary knowledge there. So a lot of the times, in talking to you, I know you've experienced walking into new businesses and they have some kind of basic setups in place that are pretty poor, for lack of a little more descriptive term that we probably shouldn't be saying on live on Facebook Air. But can you talk to the extent of that? What are some of the common mistakes or misconceptions that you've seen in businesses sort of building their networks themselves without some professional guidance, if you will?
They always leave the default password set. They're almost now, most companies are requiring multi-factor authentication or
Sure.
When you log in for the first time, you have to reset the password. But most small businesses, once they set up a router, they don't log into it. They just plug it in and go. And they don't go through the proper setup. So you have an unsecured Wi-Fi, you have a default password.
Oh my gosh.
And all that stuff is available online.
Yeah.
As an IT guy, the first thing I do is just Google default password for Asus router, default password for Comcast.
Yeah.
And this stuff is just published online because, it's for troubleshooting and setting up.
Right.
That's only for the initial setup that needs to be there.
It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. It's so basic just to change your password. I think it literally prompts you when you go in there. The fact that people just kind of always just leave it as whatever it is, admin or admin password or whatever the generic one is. And I think actually, I could be completely mistaken. I'm almost positive it's the case when there was that big Experian hack. What was that, a year or two ago now? That part of the reason there was the Experian hack was because their IT team left the default passwords on a router somewhere within their network. and the wrong person got access to it and busted into it, and here we go. So, I mean, it's not even just small businesses. I guess in some cases it's larger business too, but to me, it seems so easy to correct, but I guess it's kind of often overlooked.
Well, what's being overlooked is these Internet of Things devices.
Sure.
For example, like Alexa or Google Home or smart plug or smart bulb, smart outlet. But they all are set up mostly with default passwords. But once they're on the network, they have access to the network. It's just you're granting it access. And when somebody is able to access that Internet of Things device that connects to the internet, because that security is poor most of the time,
right?
They're gaining access as a backdoor or just a channel into your network. Actually, all my smart outlets and plugs and stuff, I have it all on my guest network for that.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I never even thought about that.
And also because, traffic utilization, it's good to have that because they're always communicating. So
sure.
You're putting that on like a separate network, even just a guest network. Most of the time it's built into like an aftermarket router. It's not built into your Comcast router. But
right.
If you just buy like one off the shelf, like an Asus, and you can set up a guest network, you just put all your things on that. Still connects to the internet, still connects to your app, but you're not opening yourself up to a risk of having an unsecured device on your network talking to you.
That's actually a really good idea. I like that. That should have been in our tip section. My gosh, that was a good one. No, I like that a lot. Kind of in the topic of routers, I know a lot of people typically just go to Amazon and buy whatever they find on there. Mostly, I guess they're probably residential type equipment. Would that suffice for a small business? Doesn't necessarily need to be a huge building, but let's say 1,000, 2,000 square feet, an office building. People get away with that, or is that sort of maybe you should upgrade a little bit right out of the gate?
It really depends on the type of traffic that you're pushing. Most of them are all rated. Some are consumer, some are small business, some are enterprise-based devices. The cost goes up exponentially when you start growing beyond that. They have the basic firewall stuff. I say anything's better than what you get from your ISP. Unfortunately, they try to push their stuff and their security stuff, but it's one of those things that everybody has it. They're not pushing as many security updates and firmware updates as these other manufacturers are. That's the type of thing that you kind of want to make sure you stay on top of. It's also where it helps to have like an outside IT source like monitoring stuff for you, so that you can make sure that you're getting proper updates and firmware updates. And those things come out on a regular basis. And because they find security holes and security patches that need to be applied so that your devices aren't available for penetration in terms of like cybersecurity.
What other kind of things, I guess, or what other places and resources do you think people can kind of go to give them a little more information, or if you just want to kind of take your step in the right direction to securing your network, short of calling an IT professional? I know everyone's usually hesitant because they don't want to put the money down, especially in a time like right now. Maybe budgets are a little tighter. You don't want to sacrifice the validity of your network, or I guess the safety of your network, especially now that you're working on home and potentially, really secure information. Are there certain steps that people can take? Password we already talked about, but other steps that people might be able to take to just kind of ensure that, I'm as secure as I can possibly be working at home right now, short of calling Steve up right now and having him come out to my house to check things out.
There's the biggest thing is that the same question you're going to ask an IT professional, you can kind of throw that into Google and get those same answers. The difference is that, an IT guy is going to guide you in the right and wrong way, but you can kind of, filter through some of that information on Google, top 5 IT practices that you should practice now, for small businesses. But the main things is just make sure you have some sort of antivirus, make sure it's updating, make sure your Windows updates are done. Windows 7 is phased out, so if you have not upgraded, you should upgrade. In terms of make sure you have passwords, make sure they are some sort of, password complexity, like a capital letter, lowercase letter, number, even a symbol, all that stuff. It just helps keep your stuff as secure. And then really just make sure that you're just practicing, safe interneting. Like don't open attachments that you don't know who they're from. Don't just go click on links or like advertisements that kind of look fishy. Just you kind of have to, the same way you operate in this world is like if you think something seems a little out of ordinary, it probably is.
Yeah, it kind of blows my mind lately too, because all the stuff that's going on with the COVID virus, and you see all these new phishing scams popping up with people sending out emails on websites. Stimulus checks,
like they're calling you,
yeah,
to, get the money out of you, and
It's amazing.
The IRS said that they have your bank account on file, so you don't really need to.
Yeah, it's literally based on your previous tax return. So everything that you have on file is already on file. You'll never talk to you about things. But people are taking advantage of it, and they're aggressive. It's social engineering, you know. They try to convince you of it. And even those ads on Facebook, I've been finding some ads of stores that are selling whatever it might be. Let's say it's a roll of toilet paper, a package of toilet paper. You open it up and just look at the Facebook page, and the reviews are just trashing it, saying that they're getting scammed out of money. It really is all over the place. And when you put your credit card into some of these places, you know, it obviously opens you up there. Outside of your network, you know, personal security too. But
yeah, so actually, speaking of that, when you are going to websites that you're entering your credit card information, if you look up in where you type the website address, like the URL bar, there should be a little lock next to the HTTPS, which means it's a secured site. You know, if it's not, then don't put your information in there. And the same thing goes, if somebody calls you from Verizon or from the IRS and they're asking for information, most of the time they're not calling you for that. So if you do feel uncomfortable, hang up the phone and actually call them back and find out if they are requiring that information. I had an issue with Verizon about 6 months ago. I had somebody call me and say that they're having trouble processing by order of an iPhone. And I knew it was sounded fishy because first of all, I didn't order an iPhone. Second of all, they were like, oh, you know, what's your billing zip code? We need to verify that. What is your PIN number or your security PIN? And those type of information is that you just give it out because that's required to access your account. And then the moment that you give that to them, the phone disconnects. And they have access to your account because they can call on your behalf. So if you feel uncomfortable with that, just hang up and call them back. They're not going to feel guilty about it, and you're going to feel more comfortable that you're actually contacting the company that said that they were calling you.
Absolutely blows my mind, just like kind of the lengths people will go to get your information and just not even feel bad about it, you know?
And even speaking on that same conversation, Verizon, it came up the Verizon phone number. They said Verizon.
Really? Wow.
They spoofed the number. So I answered it. But yeah, they can spoof numbers. Any number that you can dial, they can.
That's the scariest part to me is the number spoofing, and just how cell networks and carriers can't figure out how to block that. I mean, I know that, you know, internet numbers exist now, and it's just part of how our society runs. But there's got to be a way to kind of backtrace where that number is coming from and verify it. I mean, that's a little over my pay grade, but that's an issue. And certainly, you know, a situation where, you know, you're tech savvy and I wouldn't say fell for it, but sort of bought into it for a little while until you realize, like, hey, shit, I guess I could say shit. It doesn't really matter at this point.
I was
you know, it's just like, wow, like I definitely didn't buy this thing here, but somebody that might not have known, or maybe a bigger family that's got, you know, 5 or 6 people on the plan, they might not realize it and just kind of give out their information because, hey, my phone right here says it's got Verizon on it.
And they prey on those families because most of the time a lot of people are busy. When somebody calls them, they assume it's for a reason. And, you know, they're probably in the middle of dinner time. That's probably when they called. And they're just trying to get off the phone, or they're just trying to cancel the order, because that's what it was about. It was about canceling the order for the iPhone.
Oh.
They said that they had an issue with their network, and somebody had ordered iPhones, and they just wanted to verify that you were the one that placed the order. Yeah, they were playing on it. And
I'll tell you, that's a pretty good scheme they got going on there. It's easy to buy into for sure.
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. I'll never wrap my head around just kind of the morality of that and how some people can kind of do that and go to sleep comfortably at night. But, you know, one of the things you got to protect yourselves against, and I think amongst 1,000 other things, people looking to kind of solidify their network, especially now, or any other businesses kind of looking to expand their network or even just start up. How do people get in touch with you, Steve?
You just send me an email at steve@sbsnj.com. You can visit us at our website, sbsnj.com. You know,
excellent.
It's built by yours truly, sitting right there on the screen.
I won't take all the credit for that.
So yeah, just give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Excellent. I'll post all that information up on post-production here so everyone can see that. If you're watching this right now, you definitely should see it on your screen. Steve, thank you. I know it's, again, not often you hop in front of the screen, usually kind of doing work behind the scenes. I know you're slaying right now, but I thank you for taking a few minutes to hop on with us. I hope you guys watching out there got something out of this. Until next time. Yeah, absolutely. Visit Steve at sbsnj.com. All your technology needs. You could not find a nicer guy to sit down and work on your technology, your IT infrastructure, literally top to bottom, whether it's computer repair, networking, whatever the question might be, give him a call. He's happy to chat with you, I promise, and he will always answer very, very quickly. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.
If you want to